Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack complex topics, look closely at the sources, and pull out the key insights so you can get, genuinely well-informed. Our mission today is to really get into a specific literary and cultural source. We want to explore its story, sure, but also the surprising historical layers and themes that have helped it last for so long. So today we're doing a deep dive into Veys Ramin, a Persian love story. Now, this isn't just some old tale. It's a foundational Persian epic poem. I mean, a story that really dared to push boundaries in its time, defying kings, jealousy, ancient traditions, and it's lived on in this incredibly vibrant poetry for nearly 1,000 years. We're working directly from key excerpts from this classic text, and as we explored, I think you'll see the deep emotion and the unexpected twists that have grabbed people for generations. Okay, let's unpack this. What can this story, centuries old, really teach us today about love, about resilience, and, the complexities of the human heart? Let's start by setting the scene. Let's try and immerse ourselves in the world the source paints for us, ancient Persia. Picture the city of Marv.
It's described as this place of, incredible splendor. You've got these magnificent white marble palaces just gleaming under the sun, and gardens everywhere, overflowing with jasmine and narcissus. You can almost smell those scents carried on the spring breeze. It feels very idyllic, but also very traditional.
Yeah, and what's really striking about the setting, I think, beyond just how beautiful it is how it immediately tells you something about the society. All that detail about Marv, the opulence, it hints at the social constraints, doesn't it? This is the Sasanian Persian era we're talking about. That's the backdrop. And in that world, arranged marriages, for political reasons, that was the norm. So Veys, wanting personal freedom, that's a huge challenge to the status quo right from the start.
Right. And within this opulent but quite constrained world, we first meet Veys. The source describes her, long raven black hair like a starless night, eyes sparkling like the heavens. It's very poetic. And she's not just beautiful, right? She's portrayed as clever, strong-willed. You get the sense she's really yearning for liberty in a world that's pretty tightly bound by custom.
Absolutely. That description, eyes sparkling like the heavens in Persian poetry, that often signals more than just looks. It can hint at a deeper recognition, almost spiritual, like ishq-e hakiki, true love, as opposed to just earthly attraction, ishq-e majazi. So her beauty itself suggests something deeper is at stake.
Interesting. Now, let's contrast Veys with the man her mother, Shah Jahan, who sounds quite ambitious, had promised her to. That's Mobad, the aging king of Marv. He's depicted quite differently. Stern face, eyes glinting with what? Pride and greed.
Exactly. He sees Veys purely as a prize, doesn't he? Something to add to his collection, enhance his glory. It's not about love or partnership for him, it's possession.
So the stage is set for conflict. And the pivotal moment comes during this big festival in Marv's grand court. You can picture it. Dancers in flowing silks, musicians playing these haunting melodies on flutes and harps. It's all very grand, very traditional, celebrating power.
A real display of the established order.
And it's right here, in the middle of all this tradition, that we meet Ramin. He's Mobad's younger brother. But he sounds completely different. A poet, sunlit face, chestnut hair, a warm smile. He plays the flute, weaving stories of love and longing. He represents something else entirely.
He really does. He embodies the artistic, the romantic, maybe even the countercultural element within that rigid court structure.
Okay, so here's where it really ignites. Veys and Ramin's eyes meet across this huge, bustling crowd. And the source says, for them, the world just falls silent.
It's that classic moment of fate intervening.
Right. Ramin steps closer, takes her hand gently, and whispers, you're the sun that lights my darkest nights.
Wow. Straight in there.
And Veys, flushed but delighted, replies, and you're the breeze that sets my soul free. It's instant, profound.
It is. And that connection, that ishq-e hakiki we mentioned, it immediately sets them against the established order. It's the spark that lights the fire of the whole story. Fragile, but incredibly powerful.
And someone definitely notices that spark.
No bad.
His sharp eyes burning with jealousy. He's used to getting everything he wants, right?
Possession is key for him.
So he swears Veys will be his alone. No question.
The threat is immediate.
But Veys and Ramin, they don't just give up. They defy him. They start meeting in secret, stealing moments in hidden gardens under the moonlight, trying to build their own little world.
Creating a space for their love against the odds.
There's this one night, described really vividly, a garden full of red and white roses, a stream murmuring nearby. Sounds perfect. Veys lets her long hair down, and Ramin plays his flute, a melody that seems to, awaken the night itself.
Beautiful imagery.
And Veys shares her dream with him. Ramin, I dream of us running hand in hand through open fields, free from the world's chains.
That longing for freedom again.
And Ramin promises her, Veys, I swear by the stars, one day that dream will come true.
A powerful promise. But you have to wonder, in these epics, how much power does a promise like that really hold against, well, a king like Mobad? There's often this sense of Kismet, destiny in Persian stories. Their dream is real, their will is strong, but these external forces, they're like a test set by fate itself.
Yeah, and that test comes quickly, because their secret doesn't stay secret for long.
Spies. There are always spies.
Exactly. Mobad spies, lurking in the shadows, they catch them. They report back to the king. And Mobad is furious, absolutely enraged.
Predictably.
He locks Veys away. High, cold tower in his palace. Tiny windows, just faint glimpses of moonlight. Very grim.
Isolating her, trying to break her spirit.
And Veys is plunged into despair, gazing at the stars each night, tears streaming down her face. But her heart still beats for Ramin.
That connection remains strong, even in isolation.
She gets help, though. Her loyal nurse, who loves her like a mother, manages to smuggle out secret messages. One says, without you, my heart is a garden without spring. I'll wait for you, even if the heavens fall.
Wow, so defiant, even then.
Meanwhile, Ramin's fate. He's banished, sent off to distant, dusty plains.
Separated completely.
He's wandering under scorching sun as starry nights, playing these mournful tunes on his flute, every note just full of longing for Veys.
So this is the real test of their bond, isn't it? The separation, the hardship. And this is where we see Ramin's, his human weakness.
Yes. What happens?
In his despair, his loneliness, he turns to another woman, Gul. The source is quick to add, though, that her beauty just paled in comparison to Veys.
Okay, so he falters.
He does. And in classical Persian poetry, this kind of deviation isn't uncommon. It often serves to highlight the true love by contrast. It makes Veys's steadfastness seem even greater, and it sets up Ramin for a potential redemption arc. It's a trial, really, meant to refine their love.
How does Veys react when she finds out?
It hits her hard, like a dagger to the heart, the text says. She weeps silently in her tower.
Understandable. Does it break her love for him?
Amazingly, no. It's depicted as being so deep that it refuses to fade, even with this betrayal. She whispers to her nurse, if love were easy, my heart wouldn't ache so, but Ramin is still the light of my life.
It's incredibly powerful, holding on to love despite that kind of pain.
It speaks volumes about the depth of her commitment, doesn't it?
It really does. So time passes, years go by like this.
A long period of suffering and separation.
And then finally, King Mobad falls ill. And he dies. His hold over their lives is broken at last.
The obstacle is removed.
And with Mobad gone, Ramin returns to Marf.
And is he changed?
Yes, the source says he's wiser now, humbled by his mistakes, by his exile. He goes straight to Veys. He kneels before her, eyes full of tears, and says, Veys, I was lost in darkness, but you are the only spring in my life. Can you forgive my broken heart?
Asking for forgiveness, that's crucial.
And Veys, she pauses. You can imagine her, right? Her eyes reflecting all the past pain, but also maybe a glimmer of hope for the future.
A huge moment. What does she choose?
She takes his hand, and she says, our love survives storms and still stands. I forgive you, for my heart knows no other.
Wow. That forgiveness, it's incredibly profound, isn't it? That's really the turning point. It shows that real strength isn't about avoiding pain or never messing up. It's about choosing to connect, choosing love even after you've been deeply hurt. It elevates their love beyond just simple romance into something, much more resilient, almost transcendent.
Yeah, it's not just about getting back together. It's about healing together.
Exactly. A mature, unconditional kind of love emerging from the trials.
And so their story ends, or at least this chapter does, with this beautiful reunion. They embrace in the very same garden where their love first sparked, beneath trees heavy with white blossoms. It's like coming full circle.
Nature itself seems to approve.
The spring breeze touches Veys's hair. Ramin plays a joyful melody on his flute this time, as if the world is celebrating with them.
A beautiful resolution.
So Veys and Ramin. It really is this timeless Persian tale, isn't it? Love, betrayal, and ultimately that profound forgiveness. It shines like a jewel in Persian poetry, often considered one of the earliest, maybe the earliest, surviving full-length romantic epic. It actually predates the more famous Layla and Majnun.
That's right. This 11th century work by Fakhruddin Gorgani, it's a mathnavi, a long poem in rhyming couplets. That form really allowed these huge, emotionally rich stories to develop in Persian literature.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating.
And it hammers home that core lesson, which I think still resonates today. Authentic love, even when it's scarred by pain and separation, it has this incredible power to bloom again. Its endurance tells us something about universal human experiences, but also about its specific place and importance within the Persian literary tradition.
So maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to kind of chew on. In a world where, let's face it, relationships hit rough patches, face storms, sometimes even betrayals, what can we take from Veys and Ramin? What can they teach us about the power of perseverance? And maybe even more challenging, the capacity for radical forgiveness even when the wounds are deep. How do we find our own spring after a long winter? Not just in romance maybe, but in any important relationship that's been truly tested. Something to think about.